Welcome to In Progress, a podcast to help you grow and learn how to become a better version of yourself. Now, here's your host, Michael Sirigliano.
Welcome, everybody, to In Progress. I'm your host, Michael Sirigliano, with special guest and NFT investor, Rocco Santillo. How you doing, Rocco?
Good. How are you? How you doing?
Doing fantastic. So, we've been talking for a little bit about NFTs. You know more about NFTs than me, because I don't know anything, so it's not hard.
Right.
So I want to start with because you were in stocks. Like you initially were into stocks and trading stocks and all of that. You got me to buy a couple stocks. One of the stocks that you told me to buy is actually doing pretty well. It was the what was it, Lucid?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that one's doing pretty good. So you didn't steer me wrong there. What got you into stocks initially?
So I'd say the first time it really caught my interest was about 2 years ago when I was a sophomore, and one of my buddies, it was during the start of COVID, and he was just telling me about how everything was down and like it wasn't feasible for it all to stay that way. So I was interested, but I had no idea how that worked. So initially I just brushed it off. I was like, whatever. And then I started seeing more and more people just making all this money from it. And I was like, wow, this is something really interesting. And like, you can see such a future with it. So I finally started listening to some podcasts. One of them was by Jim Cramer. And then I researched for about a month before I bought my first stock, because I didn't want to just FOMO into anything, or because a lot of people make the mistake. They see stuff going up and that's when they buy, but that's just the wrong decision to go by.
Right. So what what was the first stock that you bought?
The first stock I bought, I'm pretty sure the first stock I bought it might have been Lucid, actually, or at the time it was CCIV. So it started as CCIV, which is electrical car company. And I had it for a very long time before it became Lucid, because it just became Lucid not too long ago, really. And but yeah, that was my first one. And I honestly didn't do too much research about that one. I saw it and I was getting antsy, so I bought it. No harm done. It was a cheap one, probably like $13 when I bought it. Probably bought like 5 of them, just easy. And then I bought like some blue chips like Apple and yeah. So I started with CCIV.
Okay. Now with stocks and all that shit, you've I know at least with Antonio, you've been his like go-to. So do you like do research into the shit, or do you just like have some type of intuition where it's like, nah, this is gonna be good, this one's gonna do shitty? Like, how do you go about buying and selling and all that shit?
Nah, no intuition, unfortunately. I wish. Maybe sometimes once you kind of get into the cycle of doing it a lot, so you can kind of feel out like, okay, this one's going down, but you look at the company, you look at the owner, and you have to really trust in that when it's going down. Like, again, you want to buy things that are good when they're going down, obviously. But yeah, I did a lot of research. When I get excited about something, I just tend to literally just go full into it. So I was just listening to podcasts all day, reading about whatever stocks I was in, reading about what their future plans were, who they would merge with, which is a big thing with me and CCIV is they were talking about that Lucid merger for a very long time. So I was just waiting on that. And yeah, I definitely did a lot more research than intuition, that's for sure.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's the way you got to do it. Just because stocks are like, I know there's a lot of people saying like with stocks, you could like look at what millionaires and billionaires are investing into, and you can kind of mimic that. Did you do any of that or not?
No, I did hear that too. I saw there was a website that you could look at literally the stocks that they were buying and everything. But no, I never really did much of that. I maybe looked at like with some of the podcasts I was listening to, they would mention a few stocks, and I would research them and then see like if they were right for me, because those guys, they got millions to burn. So it's really easy to make money when you have the money, and it's different when you are starting with 1,000 versus 1,000,000. So I mean, I can't really invest in the same stuff that they were.
Right.
So still, definitely, it would guide you in the right direction, I would say, but you can't just buy the same stuff they're doing and look for the same gains that they'll get, because their life-changing gains are way different than your life-changing gains, right?
Right, exactly, yeah. So did you, real quick, did you invest in Doge? when it was flying?
No, I was really,
didn't?
I lagged. No, I lagged on crypto really bad. I was one of those people that really was like, especially with Doge, I was like, oh, that's dumb. I'm not going to do that. But you can't really think like that. It doesn't matter what's dumb as long as you're making money. But no, I didn't invest in Doge at all. And I watched a lot of people make money when I could have too.
Yeah. So going with the that's really dumb mentality, that brings us to the reason you're fucking here. NFT.
You're right.
I see
Yes, sir.
NFTs. I think NFTs are the most ignorant fucking thing. I don't see how they are. I don't see how they're big. I don't see how there's any money in it. It literally looks like some dude just went into like Paint and created some shit,
Right.
and they're going
Looks like
for
someone copy
billions.
and pasted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
100%.
what is an NFT?
All right. So NFT, it's an acronym. It stands for non-fungible token. And fungible, the word, it means replaceable. And so they're literally non-replaceable tokens. So they're basically a group of digital coding that make up a picture. They could be in the form of pictures, videos. As we've been seeing a lot recently, land has been really big, and it's all
land.
Yeah, land. Land is actually probably the biggest thing selling right now, which we can get into that more when we start talking about the metaverse and such. But so that can be one of those, and it's all recorded on something called the blockchain. Do you know what that is at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the blockchain basically is a digital receipt that says, okay, you have this much amount of ETH, Solana, Matic, whatever, and then you can buy this, and then it goes together, transfers, and it's like, yep, you can do that. Transfers, good. And the cool thing about the whole blockchain is everybody's wallet is all public. So it'll, like, everyone in the world, every wallet is public, and you will see on the blockchain who's buying what and when. But the thing is, obviously, you won't see who it is. It just says a wallet address. And if you know what it looks like, a wallet address is just a ton of letters and numbers. So, I mean, you don't know who it is, but every wallet is public.
Okay. And so you could see purchases being made, sales being made, it's all out there for everyone to see.
Yep. And you can look up like these wallet addresses, which they call them whales, which are just these addresses that spend like tons of ETH. And then you just, you could see what they're buying and when they're buying it, especially with NFTs. You can see what NFTs they're getting into, what ones they're selling out of all the time, which kind of goes along the same thing when what we were talking about with stocks is how you can see their public records, not always public, but it's like the same way. You can't really do the same thing they're doing because you don't have the capital that they got.
Right, exactly. You don't got millions to just drop on a fucking one stock.
JPEG, right?
Exactly. So what is the relevance? What's the importance of NFTs? Because they're blowing up right now, and I can't comprehend why the fuck they're as big as they are.
Right. So a big thing that I like to say with NFTs, because a lot of people are like literally have the same mindset. They're like, why am I going to pay $20,000 for a picture, right?
Right.
Or whatever, a video, just anything like that. So I think a big thing with seeing why these are so important is believing in the vision of how the entire society, everything is going completely digital. Like, you have to believe in this vision that everything's going to go digital, which I completely 100% believe in. I think it's all going that way.
Right.
And you have to believe in like the future of the metaverse and like its place there. So a lot of these NFTs, people don't really know much. They don't really look into it much. They just see the picture, right? But they have like real world utility behind them. So like you can become a part of a very exclusive club by owning one of these, or I know like they could be important in the way that you can bring these with you into the metaverse. So there will be people that are rich in the real world, but they won't be rich in the metaverse because they don't have these digital assets that they would have had if they bought them with their time now.
Mm-hmm. So the metaverse, like, is that essentially going to be like just the new society?
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of look at it like that. It's basically just like a digital life. Like, that's not saying that everyone's gonna be having a chip in their brain and they're gonna be thrown into this digital life, but it's gonna be just like you're just thrown into another, like you can go there, like it can be in the form of like, you've already seen metaverses. Metaverses are GTA. You can see metaverses in Minecraft. They're just very low, like minded metaverses right now where you can only control them and you're not really submerged completely in.
Uh-huh.
But in the future, obviously the way that we see technology advancing and you've seen all these big companies getting into the metaverse, NFTs, like Nike. I don't know if you saw this, but Nike just made a humongous move for NFTs yesterday. They bought RTFRK, if I'm correct, which is a NFT company, and they just went together with that. So that was a big one. And Adidas combined with Bored Ape Yacht Club. If you know Bored Ape Yacht Club.
I actually do know that name.
Yeah, those are the ones that you see OBJ, a bunch of influencers use as their profile pictures, like Shaq, Lil Baby, DJ Khaled just bought one. So yeah, those are like and then like obviously the old big profile picture NFTs, because there's different variety like genres of NFT. Like there's a profile picture ones, and then photography, land, all those. But the first big profile picture NFT was the CryptoPunk, and that's like the ones that you see now going for hundreds of thousands of dollars every day. Cheapest you can get is $100,000.
So why do they go for so much? I just can't wrap my brain around why.
Right. So there's a lot of different reasons, I would say, and why they go for as much as they do. And a good way that I saw it explained really is for just like a face value. This isn't like the entire reason why they go for so much, but you think about art and people having this art in their house that they pay so much for, like these paintings or anything like that, this physical art. But how many people, let's just use Shaquille O'Neal as an example. If you're Shaquille O'Neal, you buy this painting, you put it in your house. How many people can you show off this painting to? No one can come and see it. But versus getting a Bored Ape Yacht Club, you put as your profile picture, verify it's you by using your blockchain account or wallet address, and everyone knows it. So I think a big thing now is becoming status, and a lot of people, it's, you know how society loves to show off what they have for status. So
right, absolutely. What
better way than spending $100,000 on something that other people can't have, and it's the only one out there. It's a one of one. You can't get another one, which is non-fungible, so can't be replaced, and you have the only one.
Okay, so that makes sense. But I want to tie it back into you now, because you texted me today talking about how you had 3 NFTs, was it?
Yes.
All right. So what is your reason for buying it? Was it to flip, or was it to make it your profile picture like OBJ?
Mine is actually neither, I would say, right now. It's not one that's established enough. Like maybe I could use it in my profile picture, sure, and other people couldn't, but it's not established enough where it'd be like, oh my God, that he's got that Cyclops monkey, what it's called. But I want to hold it, and because I believe in the project, I believe in the community, so I believe that if I hold it, that it's going to appreciate a lot. And like I was telling you earlier when we were texting, the art hasn't even been individually released yet for each owner. So I have 3 NFTs that are just black screens right now because the art hasn't been revealed yet. So it could be super rare or just common, but depending on how many people hold them, and of course how rare it is, that's how much it'll go up. But even for me, I mean, I minted, which is okay. So minting, do you know what minting is? No. I'll explain it anyway, just for the audience. Anyway, minting is basically getting the digital asset NFT at the cheapest possible price. So they'll put a lot of them do a pre-sale and a public sale, and usually the pre-sale public sale will be a day or two, like a day or two discrepancy.
Right.
And a lot of them do something called a whitelist, where you have to do certain tasks in a Discord to get on a whitelist so you can mint at the cheapest price. And that's used for a number of reasons. One, to like establish community and like strong like people who will hold the NFT. Also, gas prices are rampant, especially on OpenSea, which is
gas prices.
Yes, gas prices. So gas prices are NFT? Right. So it's not like the gas you put in your car, not that kind of gas, but gas prices are, it's basically a transaction fee. So you're essentially paying to get your transaction to go through before someone else's. And when a lot of people are trying to go at the same time, transact at the same exact time, gas prices skyrocket. So a big problem with Ethereum and OpenSea as a whole, and like the entire NFT space up until now, because they're finally making exchanges where you can use Solana and other things that don't require gas fees, is that the gas fees will become so high that you're paying $500 for an NFT, but you're also paying $500 just to literally like make the transaction. So you're paying $1,000 just for one NFT. So it's been really, so that's why they have 2 different days. So it's it kind of eliminates that huge, like, how do I want to say, just like imagine a bunch of people trying to go through one door at the same time. Basically, that's like, it tries to eliminate that.
By you utilizing different cryptocurrencies.
No, it just by like changing up the pace. So like if a bunch of people are trying to pay for one NFT at the same time, then the transaction fee goes up. So you can beat them out by paying $500 when the average gas fee is like $300.
Okay.
But then you're spending $500, which is obviously not ideal. When you're trying to, they can be as low as $20, but they can get up to, like, it's been seen, they've got, I've seen gas prices at $10,000, getting ridiculous. So yeah, they get very high, especially for like highly touted NFTs, like ones that are just like very weighted for, like, I don't know, because I didn't invest in Gary V's, but it was called VeeFriends, and I'm sure those gas prices were just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I've seen that going on for he's been talking about that for a long time, actually.
Yeah, those are funny. If you you want to talk about pictures you don't understand why they go for so much, you should look at those. Those are just, it's literally his doodles. That's what he did. But
I saw when he was starting to do it, like before NFTs were even big, he was talking about VeeFriends and he was posting it on his Instagram and shit. And I'm just like, right. What does he do? Is he going to make stuffed animals? And then I saw he was doing NFTs with it, and I'm like, people pay for this?
Yeah. So I didn't really talk about it as much as I should have, but along with the status thing, with why they're going for so much, is like this utility, which I mentioned for a second. But you'll see like the greatest utility behind things that look like little doodles, which they are at a base value, but you pay for the owner, which is Gary Vee. So obviously he's already established a ton. And then you get this utility behind them, which can give you access to future NFTs that he makes. And so you don't have to put in any work. You get it for free, just right in your wallet. Or you can be invited to, like he uses his NFTs as tickets. So those who hold his NFT can go and see him talk for free just by holding that. Exclusive parties, business meetings, like that's what a lot of these NFTs have. So they'll serve the purpose where you can attend these very exclusive events.
Okay. So from my understanding of what NFTs are so far, they're basically they're essentially a fashion statement for the most part. Yeah, like instead of shoes, you got a picture, right? So like instead of like some like a pair of Air Forces from Virgil, you got an NFT from Gary. And then you can also, the creator of the NFTs can then utilize and leverage that NFT to be like, not only do you have this NFT I made and you just got it, but you also can now attend my events and all of this shit too. So there's incentive behind owning NFTs by certain creators.
Right. Which I would say is the much like more like that's why they're bought more than the fashion statement part. The fashion statement, that's more for like very famous influencers like Lil Baby, who aren't really in the community, but like they want to show off the status that they have. Right. But like most of these like big NFTs, like a lot of it is the utility behind and the community that you'll get from it, and like networking. You'll see all these people that you wouldn't be able to see before, or like there's some that airdrop like different tokens or money to you every month. Like there's a lot that like you can use as passive income, and you can get that every month.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of different, there's a ton of different utility that a lot of NFTs use.
So the ones that you bought, what is the like reason you bought it? Like, what is there any incentives or anything like that, or is it literally you're gonna hold them in hopes that they're gonna just like appreciate like a motherfucker.
Right. There's that. I believe in it becoming a blue chip NFT because, I mean, who knows if it will, but I wouldn't invest in something I don't believe in. As well as it's called a roadmap, which I'll get into later. But a roadmap is essentially like the future of the NFT and what they plan to do.
Okay.
And it's just basically the same thing. Like you'll be invited to exclusive parties, like the first meetup as a team, like exclusive group chat, like just things like that with different business creators. And there's a Tesla giveaway, as well as so there's 10 special NFTs that are all randomized who gets them. And each one of those, if you happen to get them, you'll get $10,000 in Ethereum, as well as the NFT, which will be able to be resold for a bunch just because there's 10 of them out of 6,666 right now. And then there's a legendary one, which you get $200,000 in Ethereum, as well as having like the most insane one of the bunch. So there's a bunch of different reasons behind it, but of course, the main reason that I bought these is because it was so publicized and it was posted by all these humongous pages. And I looked at it. I liked the roadmap. I joined the Discord. The community seemed solid. And of course, I minted it at 0.049 ETH, which was about $200 when I did it. And even now, it's been up to 0.2 ETH, which is probably about $900 before even reveal.
Really?
But right now, it's sitting at about 0.165, I'd say. So probably it's still like 650. So I mean, I have 3 of them. I've made, without even seeing what I have, like $1,300 profit if I liquidate it. So there's always the thing that could happen is that they reveal the art, it just flops for some reason, and it goes down, and I don't make any profit. But again, that's the risk you take with it. NFTs are definitely probably one of the riskiest things you can put your money into right now, especially after 2 months ago when everything was going off. So now it's pretty saturated, but it's still one of those things that not many people know about it. And like everybody says in the space, it's still basically day zero for this kind of stream of income.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said at the beginning, I've heard of NFTs. I know a few people who really fuck with NFTs, you being one of them. And that's it. Like I think I know 2, maybe 3 people who really fuck with NFTs. You're one of them. And It's like, my circle of people that I associate with is pretty large. And there's only like 3 people I know who actually are in the NFT game. So like nobody's in it. It's not like stocks where it's like everyone just download Robinhood and good to go. It's like you have to actually go through the process of being able to do it. Now, you said that the community that your NFT, like the community for your NFT is solid. What relevance does the community have to your NFT? Like, why is that an important thing to look for when you're looking for NFTs?
So I'm glad you said that, because the community is arguably one of the most important things, if not the most important thing about these NFTs, honestly. Like, you can have great creators, you can have great art, you can have great everything, but if the community is not solid, the community is toxic, the project will not go anywhere. It'll flop. It doesn't matter, because if you have just a bunch of people that want to buy this NFT and flip it right away, it's gonna be shit. There's gonna be a bunch of very low profit flips going on. There's no holding. Like, the biggest thing for NFTs which makes them appreciate value is people holding it and people not being able to get it. So like, if my whole community holds this NFT and you want it, you can't get it because we're holding it and we're not listing it. And that makes the floor price go up, because if we list it, because the community picks the floor price basically. So if you got a whole, say you have 5,000 people in a community, this is extremely rare if it even ever happened. But say you have 5,000 people in a community and there's 5,000 NFTs, everybody has one, and everybody lists it at 5 ETH, and nobody puts it under that. Everybody puts it at 5 ETH. The floor price is 5 ETH, and the only time you can get it is if you get on there and buy it for 5 ETH, and that's it. No one else can get it any other way. It's impossible. That's it. So that's why the community is so important, because if you have just a good, strong community that all believes in the idea of a blue chip NFT, which, then like it's very rare that it won't get there. Like, it'll just keep appreciating based on who lists what. And some people don't list them at all. Some people just hold them.
in hopes that it
until
gets more, like gets higher.
Yeah, and in hopes that it gets higher, or until they feel that the price is where they want it at. Like that's how these NFTs that you see go for so much happen. It's all community. I mean, obviously there's utility behind it that makes the community want to be a community, but at the end of the day, if the community doesn't want to hold it, the utility behind it doesn't really matter.
So, going back to, what is it? Bored Ape Yacht Club?
Yeah.
So going back to that, because those go for a shit ton of money, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So is that because the community makes that happen, or is that because the Bored Ape Yacht Club itself, the NFTs are just so, at this point, mainstream famous that regardless of what the community does, those NFTs are going to go for shit ton of money?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're at a point where maybe it doesn't. They're at a point where it doesn't matter. Like, unless, like, for some reason the community was anti Bored Ape Yacht Club and just listed them all for whatever, and the whole world hated them. That's like the only way they could go down. Like, they're way too mainstream. They're way too big. No matter what, if someone wanted to spite Bored Ape Yacht Club for some reason, put it up for 0.08 ETH, whatever, like $300. Yeah, you're not going to spite Bored Ape Yacht Club. Someone's going to swipe it up and put it up for fucking 20 ETH anyway. So
right,
you're not spiting them. They're too big. It's like, it's kind of like, I guess, this is a really bad comparison, but like looking at Apple, imagine a worker at Apple is just like, fuck you, Apple, and quits. What's going to happen? Someone else is going to get hired. They don't give a shit about you.
Right,
they don't
exactly.
care. Yeah,
they're too big to be affected by one person being an asshole.
Right. Yeah, it would take a lot, and it would take something really bad for them. Like, they would have to do something real bad, which I actually do have an example of a project if you want to hear about that.
Yeah.
There was a project called Jungle Freaks by Trossley NFT.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this, I actually really liked the art. It was really cool art. And they were going up. They were sliding up the rankings. I think they were at a floor price of like either 1 ETH or 2 ETH, which is like $7,000, $8,000. And the artist, his name was Trossley. He's an old man. He's very old. And a bunch of stuff came out about him being super racist. So he was drawing cartoons, like KKK cartoons and stuff. And they found those.
As NFTs or beforehand?
No, before. Just like, I think it was like newspaper stuff, like cartoons, like just like really.
Back in the day.
Really, oh, yeah, like real offensive. Like, it must have been when he was like a teenager, which obviously at the time, but like with some bad stuff. So it all came out and then it just shot down. It fell to the ground. I mean, right now they're at like 0.3 ETH, which is still a good amount. It's like 1,500 or something, maybe even more. But they could have been a very big blue chip NFT if something like that. So like that, it had to be something super detrimental and probably even worse than that for Bored Ape Yacht Club to fail at this point.
Damn, that's crazy. So literally the community almost exclusively dictates the price of the NFTs.
Yeah, especially when they're first coming out. Like mine, which is why there's been some issues with mine actually lately, which happened just right before I got on the podcast, because like I told you earlier, the art was supposed to be released and it wasn't. So now some people are getting it's called FUD, which it's like a term around NFT space, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Mm-hmm. And when you see like just a bunch of people like hysteria and freaking out, like what's going on, what's this, like that was happening a little bit with mine. So I saw my floor price drop a little bit, but again, I still feel like the community's strong enough, and I think we'll be all right.
Hope so. Damn, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.